Hey y'all, we are back with another dense update. This update is sponsored by Biomax Peptides and Herd Athletics. Here we go. Well, the White Knight is back again.
The White Knight!
And no, I don't mean Mitchell Hooper. I'm talking about...
My name is Joshua Al-Chamaa, and I'm a Vitruvian athlete.
Formerly of CrossFit Invictus. If you remember, he was on the games team. They won back in 2023, I believe, with Jorge Fernandez, Brittany Weiss, and Devin Kim. He recently posted this to his story.
The line of free speech and hate speech should not be as confusing as it seems to be for some. It makes me sick that some people still listen to podcasters in the space of CrossFit that continue to speak in a derogatory and hateful manner. I was informed this week of clips where both racial and religious-based remarks were made by a group of men towards a woman. It was actually disgusting, and I'm sure those in the space can put two and two together, as it's always the same culprits that spew hatred. Choose wisely who you listen to, as the mind can become infected. It is not okay to make a woman feel uncomfortable or scared due to the comments you make. Democracy doesn't give you the right to be evil.
Nowhere in this does he provide any examples of what he's talking about. Uses the word democracy and hatred and evil. I see this and I'm thinking, boy, this guy is desperately just trying to stay relevant and be in the conversation. Because when there's scandals happening and women are being treated poorly by his standards, he picks and chooses when he speaks up and white knights for them. Because that was happening very close to him for quite some time. And he didn't say a thing. I mean, of course, that wouldn't have helped him. That could have hurt his chances of him and his team winning the CrossFit Games that year had he white knighted for her. But
because I was someone that was somewhat selfish and not very understanding of other people's time and opinions, and I always thought things revolved around me, and now they don't.
It's also rumored that he was the one leading the charge to have Devin Kim kicked off the team that next year. She provided 2 scores during the Open for the CrossFit Invictus team in 2024, and she was training with Lauren Fisher, Joshua Al-Chamaa, Chandler Smith. However, once West Coast Classic rolled around, Jesse Smith was on the team.
I plan to be the only British male to hold 2 gold medals, so.
Also on Instagram this week, Andrew Hiller put up this reel of this lady.
No! No! No!
And she completely let that joke fly right over her head. She took it as a personal attack on her. And then she went on to post several times on her Instagram story defending herself, of course, and then making attacks at Hiller. So then, of course, Andrew Hiller makes a video about it.
And today we're talking about Margot Massett. Might be Massett, but we're going with Massett. We're also going to go with Manjo because it says right in her bio to call her Manjo. She is a Viking out of Ibiza. She is a CrossFit athlete and a coach. And today's going to be all about Manjo.
Now, she tagged me in one of her story responses to Hiller, and still not sure why exactly. Maybe she thought I was going to come to her rescue as a female or agree with her. When you watch the video, you clearly show depth when you squat snatched. And with the barbell still overhead, you proceed to overhead squat, not to depth. It's really cut and dry for me. And she could have very easily just acknowledged that and went on about her life. But I think pride and ego got the best of her on this one. This is clearly an example of what not to do for everybody out there that might end up on a Hiller reel. A little slice of humble pie is good for the soul. Now, speaking of humble pie, I had a bit of a brain fart, blonde moment, you could call it. I was on CrossFit Jeopardy on the Get With The Programming YouTube channel. I was up against Lucy Campbell and John Young.
Lucy, you've had such a wonderful year, and coming on Jeopardy for the first time. Let's have you take control of the leaderboard.
Name that event for 800.
Name that event for 800. Oh my God.
Wow.
Right off the bat.
Y'all, I studied all night for the show and that morning. I went in really eager, really confident. I thought I was going to win this thing. And in the final Jeopardy round,
it all boiled down to one inevitable conclusion. I was just totally clueless.
I read it 2 or 3 times and it still didn't make sense to me. I could have changed my answer. I could have not disclosed that I misunderstood it. Chase was very gracious enough to let me change my answer, which probably shouldn't have done. But in the end, it didn't matter. John, however, wagered all of his money ended up with 0. So then I ended up in second place and Lucy Campbell ended up winning, which was pretty epic because of what happened next.
Lucy ends up with 5,200.
Wow.
And
Yay,
she
Lucy.
is the winner.
Well, great job, Lucy. I'm glad I let you win that because we wouldn't have gotten that moment like that.
If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out on Get With The Programming YouTube channel. There was a little bit of a rumor floating around Wodapalooza Vendor Village. With rumors, I like to get a couple of sources before we throw that out there. And I did hear that Tier will be stepping away from Wodapalooza as the title sponsor. And I also heard that Gym Reapers might possibly be taking their place. Now, another rumor out of Tier Wodapalooza is the Erg Shoot. They are in talks with NorCal Classic, trying to potentially be used there at their event. I'm not sure the Erg Shoot is something that should be implemented at an event that's going to be qualifying people to the CrossFit Games. What do y'all think? The Barbell Spins regular Wednesday show, they had James Sprague on, and he was talking a little bit about his upcoming competition in January at his home gym, the Mode Classic.
Now I'm like, I can do this better. I want to give these guys a show and give back to the community that's given me so much. So this is a CrossFit competition meant to give people an opportunity that, want to come throw down, make some good money. It's kind of that Crash Crucible feeling where it's inside of a box. Similar style of programming. I'm not going to say I'm the mastermind of JR, but like we want it to feel the same way.
James also said that so far 2 athletes have been invited. A Sentinel training athlete, Mason Griffin.
Mr. Lover, lover. Now Mr. Lover, lover.
And semifinal athlete, Trista Smith. If you want more information on how to sign up for the Mode Classic qualifiers, those start in November, you can go to their Instagram page. There is a link in the bio. And if you want to get your body looking like Mason's to get you ready for the Mode Classic or even this next year's CrossFit Open, Sentinel Training has a limited amount of monthly subscriptions where you can get locked in for a lifetime at the price of just $20 a month.
Are you serious?
This is going to be good until they reach 1,000 subscribers or athletes, or December 1st, whichever comes first. And they're getting pretty darn close. If you know anything about Taylor and Bryson, besides the fact that they're crazy funny and extremely fit, it is that they put a tremendous amount of time and heart into the Sentinel training programming. They provide more value add to their clients than a lot of coaches in the space. And not to mention, they are the most affordable prices out there. I personally watched them all week long while we were in California. I watched how hard they work. They do video reviews. They're constantly emailing, programming, testing workouts for their athletes. These dudes really give a shit. And their fitness and that of their athletes is truly a testament to it all. And also, their first 1,000 subscribers are going to get their travel and hotel ebook for free. It has like over 100 workouts with modified scaling options as well. Pull your phone out right now while you're listening to the rest of the update. Go to sentineltraining.com and sign up for your free trial. Jason Hopper was on with Sevan after Wodapalooza.
The mental and like physical expectation for yourself and how bad you want it does not compare to winning the CrossFit Games.
Talked all things Wodapalooza, the athlete meeting, the dynamic in there, his interactions with Tia and some of the other athletes. And Sevan asked Jason, who has a better relationship with Dave, him or DBE? Which he dodges that question. But then he asks him or Patrick Vellner. And Jason says him, of course. Jason actually calls Dave Castro when he's on the podcast. Dave doesn't answer. He was probably watching. Jason also says that Sevan came up in that athlete meeting.
Did Sevan come up? Did you
Yes,
tell?
absolutely.
No, seriously?
Absolutely.
So I have to assume it was in a negative light.
You were you probably weren't painted in the best light, no. We definitely talked through the value of Sevan and the Sevan team and what y'all bring to the table.
Oh, in terms, someone was disappointed we didn't throw the dildo out.
That was a really good live show. You can check that out on this YouTube channel. Now, Will Moorad was on with Pedro of Coffee Pods and Wads. Again, he did mention that they made an adjustment to the World Fitness Project 2026 season once the CrossFit Games put out their season schedule. He did also mention something that I hadn't heard in regards to the World Fitness Project Tour Stop 1 in Indianapolis. Peter had asked about outside media.
Have you looked at, say, bringing in external media?
But then he mentioned
there was a that did that in Indy that were requested to not be there anymore by the athletes, and we made sure that happened. So
wow, just for what, being like on top of them or like talk to them when they shouldn't?
Some things that were a little bit distasteful, and we addressed that.
Now I could guess which athletes and coaches wouldn't want certain people back there, but Will Moorad didn't say who he was referencing.
God, you want to be some fucking asshole to be in a warm-up area and piss someone off, or to, you know, you'd really have.
There was a that did that in Indy that were requested to not be there anymore by the athletes, and we made sure that. So
wow, just for what, being like on top of them or like talk to them when they shouldn't?
Things that were a little bit distasteful, and having to deal with that while you're warming up for an event in the field that you're competing in isn't something you need to deal with. So we addressed that.
Wow, now I want to know who that was.
Now, I remember talking to Tyler the one and only day that he was there, and he definitely wasn't asked to leave. And I, again, further confirm this. So Will's account of the situation isn't accurate, if that's who he's talking about. I have heard there are some other content creators that have been asked to leave, who I have reached out to for comment, but they have not gotten back to me yet. So we're going to hold off on that one until next time.
That dense bitch?